This is Scott Meitler with the Sullivan Elementary Safe School Audit. Sullivan Elementary is located in Ulysses, Kansas, which is in the southwest part of the state. We are about 40 minutes from the Colorado border and about 40 minutes from the Oklahoma border. In relation to Wichita, it takes us about 3.5 hours to get there. Our town is made of about 6,000 people. Some major employers are the feed yards, both cattle and hogs, Pioneer Electric, Pioneer Communications, and the school district. We have several different options for entertainment. Our Grant County Rec provides a lot of activities for our kids. We have an 18-hole golf course, county fair, the light parade, and the fair parade. Our valuation is definitely something that concerns us. In 2012, you can see what it was compared to 2017. It has dropped drastically. Had a small up from 16 to 17, but it's still down quite a bit. That is a change in our demographics as well. When we had gas and oil, our valuation was high, and we had executives and their families here. And it's changed to more of a working class population. Many of our families are employed by the feed yards, a dairy, and so it's a change in how we do school here in Ulysses. This is all from Mr. Younger's strategic planning presentation. All right, demographic study for the district. We have 2 elementary schools. Hickok is pre-K through 2nd grade. Sullivan is 3 through 5th grade. We have a middle school, Kepley Middle School, 6th through 8th grade, and Ulysses High School, 9 through 12th. We're a 4A district with about 1,700 kids. Sullivan Elementary is one of 2 elementaries. I am the assistant principal of both elementaries, and we have a full-time assistant principal at each elementary school. Sullivan was identified long ago as a focus school, which brought along with it several challenges, but two great things came about. We are now fully MTSS and fully PBIS because of the focus and working with KLN and whatnot. Staff, we have 6 homeroom teachers per grade, so 18 total grade level teachers, 5 specials, 4 special ed teachers, an ESOL teacher, Title I teacher, and several paraprofessionals. One of the biggest challenges we have in Southwest Kansas is finding teachers. We are having a great deal of success with our transition to teaching program, and we're working on recruitment. We have a card that we hand out to students that might be interested. Our base salary is $41,550. We have a student loan repayment program. We pay $2,000 in reimbursable for college tuition, and if you student teach out here, we will give you free housing. Students demographic, this comes from KSDE's building report card. 3 notable areas. We have almost 35% of our students ELL, 65% are low SES, and we have a high Hispanic population. Almost 70% of our students are Hispanic, and that can either be 2 to 3 generations, or it can be newcomers, primarily from Mexico or Honduras or different areas down there. We've had several additions to Sullivan. One addition, you can see the placard 1958. In 2001, there were some other additions with a gym and a new area for classrooms, restroom, and a conference room. In 2015, we had another renovation, not really addition, but renovation. New entrance, electronic doors, foyer, security entrance, main entrance, principal's office, and we replaced old windows with energy efficient windows. The district is also working to remove all carpet, and we're actually doing polished concrete in the hallways and epoxy flooring in the classrooms. 2 highlights. Our district really works on security, and our board a couple years ago took that serious and upgraded our security cameras, as well as we can lock down the building from a keypad on the door, and the secretaries can lock all the doors right from their desk. Another area, when they built the gym area, it really serves as a multi-purpose area for those main doors close and they can be locked, and then that becomes the main entrance for volleyball games for middle school, basketball games. The rec uses them for games, so it's really a community multi-purpose room for everybody. Two areas of concern is the plumbing at Sullivan and then just the age of the building and the maintenance that's had to happen over the years. We could just really use some money to just finally upgrade and do things just because of the age of it. The plumbing, there are two areas where the pipes have completely deteriorated, and so water has nowhere for it to drain. So we've had to shut off the, the water altogether in certain areas, so sinks and whatnot don't work any longer. The audit results, again, plumbing, the age, concrete work, and then equipment deterioration. That is a floor scrubber on the far right that was making black marks, and so the custodians were not very happy when that was happening, so we had to make sure to get that fixed. The playground, 2.8 TW, I would suggest it has rubber mulch with at least a foot deep. And then the tripping hazard is the border around the playground. The dumpsters really need to be enclosed, and the curb appeal would increase if we did that. And then on the left is an overhang that has no cameras or supervision. So we could really install some more cameras so we don't have a blind spot there. Immediate needs. This is something that me as the principal I can do. On 3.14, that door is actually to the basement, but it could be mistaken for an exit, and so we need to put on there not an exit. All the outside doors do not have signage that directs visitors to the main entrance to sign in, and we need to get that taken care of as well. Matter of fact, I've already emailed the secretaries and they're on top of it. We're going to have signs printed in English and Spanish on that. Construction plans, the board has begun talks of a bond issue. They've used capital outlay money as good as they can, but our needs are becoming a lot, and so we've talked about that. The board has with the superintendent. They've talked about for Sullivan updating the kitchen, the stage, and the cafeteria area, and they've talked about moving the bus lane where it currently is on the right there to actually going down the south or the west side of the building. Environmental conditions, we don't worry about flooding, we don't really worry about earthquakes. Our biggest thing is wind. And in the ISLIC Standard 3A, my job is to promote and protect the welfare of the safety of the students and the staff. And so looking at the trees there, in 1.2B and 1.2D, we don't have alternate routes if those trees fell due to wind or a tornado or something, or I guess not a tornado, it would be outside, but due to wind, we wouldn't have a way to get out that door there. And then just the trees or the limbs falling on the building could be a problem too. Our tornado shelter is windowless, and we have identified that so that there's no windows. It's safe down in our basement area. The deferred maintenance goes back to, I think, if they would have if maintenance years and years and years ago would have done routine checks on our plumbing and whatnot, they would have been able to take care of those pipes and they wouldn't have been completely deteriorated. Unfortunately, now we have sinks, as you can see in the pictures, that no longer work because of the lack of pipes. Persons responsible, I really believe this was a maintenance department. The cost to correct it is huge now. Would need capital outlay, bond issue, involving the board, superintendent, and then of course the bond would be approved by the community. Inadequate funding. The district has done very good to use capital outlay funds. Right now, we do not have any debt, and all of our renovations and everything have come from our capital outlay monies. You can see, though, that capital outlay continues to decrease because of the valuation that I talked about earlier in the demographic study. There's only so much money for the entire district with lots of needs. And again, all this information comes from Superintendent Younger's strategic planning presentation. Another thing I wanted to point out with funding is now that we're using Public School Works, we can track work orders to analyze our data to determine really our hotspots. So we're using our money wisely. Inadequate staff training. We hire custodians and we expect them to know how to use the chemicals, the equipment, and just know how to clean in general. Really, we don't do a very good job of training them on how to use that equipment that we have and the chemicals. This year, however, one of the chemical companies did come out and do an all-day in-service for our custodians and taught them how to properly mix, dilute the chemicals and use them and everything. So they were happy about that. We also, through Public School Works, offer several safety videos for our custodians. But like the textbook talked about, we don't give evaluation information and we don't give task-oriented lessons. We just expect them to know how to clean and use their on-the-job experience and mentoring. So really we need to take a look at that textbook and take some examples from there. Poor practices, we don't keep our doors shut like we should. And then the other part of it is we're a small town, so we don't worry too much about crime. And sometimes we get relaxed and don't always secure that main entrance door like we should, even though we've done a great job of it this year. The principal is responsible for those things. Student and staff morale. Clean environment promotes the student learning. We have modern facilities for the most part. We have well-maintained facilities. And then on the very first page, page 1 of the textbook, I'm just going to quote it. When maintaining a school, we pay not only for bricks and mortar, but also student and staff well-being. Public opinion. The community of Ulysses is a very supportive. Parents, businesses, and organizations are supportive of our school. There's a lot of trust that the community has in the school that we make wise decisions, we use our resources responsibly, and that we're educating our students for the future success. Our superintendent holds a coffee with the superintendent where people can come and just visit with him. One time last year there was safety concerns, but those got addressed there at that coffee. As the board continues to talk about a bond, the superintendent has involved, of course, the board members, site councils, and staff members, superintendent, administration, maintenance, teachers, and again, I think it's a good thing for the public to know that we have $0 in debt. We also do as much as we can through positive social media. And we just did a survey not too long ago on our parents of how to best communicate with them. And that was through text messages, Facebook, and notes in backpacks. Pupil transportation concerns. We have changed our drop-off procedures this year. We used to drop off in the street and they had to cross that grassy area there and then cross that driveway area. We've changed it now so that parents actually just pull in where that green arrow is, drop off their kids, and if you can see on past there, the school is right there for them just to go in. So, and that was all done through our assistant principal. To summarize, some highlights. We really had an emphasis on safety upgrades. We've used capital outlay wisely. We've done upgrades that last, and we have very clean facilities. Some concerns, we have more needs than we have money, and so we're going to have to start looking at a bond issue. And there are really some simple fixes that I can do as the principal to increase, how we've done on the audit. So, all right, thank you.